Hey guys, it's me, Christy Lee. Good morning. I have a problem. All my obsessions have come back around in full force at the same time. So my obsession with houseplants is back. I'll tell you guys more about that. My obsession with hunting mushrooms is back. My gardening obsession has waned, and I feel like that's coming back because it's about time to start a new wave of plants that I'll probably fail at, but I don't care. I am at a park that I have not come to before for mushroom hunting. I've come to the park before, but it wasn't for mushroom hunting. But I wanted to come check out the mushrooms, so I figured I'd bring you guys along for a quick mushroom hunt. And then I'm going to tell you about the plant I bought and some other things I bought and some plans and things I've been doing and all of that. So come along. So I actually found this guy just driving into the park. And this is an edible mushroom known as Old Man of the Woods. It looks a little gross, but this is what it is supposed to look like. I've never tried one, but I'm hoping to find some more, maybe in better condition. If I don't feel ready to try it yet, I'll just dehydrate it like I've been with most of my edibles, and maybe one day I'll get the courage to actually try them. But yeah, this Old Man of the Woods. Here's one here. I'm still just in the parking lot. Wow, this looks like an oyster. I don't know what it is though, because oysters usually grow from wood. Ugh, does not smell good. It's pretty though. Here's some saw palmetto berries that are not ripe yet, but when they are, these sell for really good money, but you have to have a permit to pick and sell them. Like I said, I've been here before. I actually came out here to fish once, maybe twice, I can't remember, it's been a while, but I've never walked the trails. I have no idea what they look like. I know there's a lot of pine and oak and palm out here, so maybe I can find some of the more ideal edible mushrooms. We'll see. I hope this isn't a boardwalk the whole way. I hope there's actually a trail I can get off on. I actually don't have just a whole lot of time to be out here, but I have to stop going to my favorite location by myself because it's a dangerous place. I knew that, but every time I go out there, something really creepy happens. I had an old man who was kind of following me the last time I was there, and telling me that he was being followed by an old man. I don't know, it just kind of wigged me out. So I don't think I'll be going back without Ricky anymore. It's just not safe. Well, it looks like this is where the boardwalk ends. Nowhere for me to get down, and it's flooded. May not be the best place to go mushroom hunting, but I did find that Old Man of the Woods. So that was cool. I don't know if I told you guys, I went to my mom's house last Sunday to visit my twins while they were there, and I took them on a little mushroom hunt just around my mom's yard, which was perfect. I don't know what it is about her yard, but she had like every mushroom I could imagine. I found so many good edibles at her house, not just then, but over the course of a couple years going out there and mushroom hunting. I found lion's mane, black trumpet, chanterelles, oysters, some milk caps, and tons of boletes that I have yet to identify. First woke up this morning, I actually thought about going out to my mom's for two reasons, well, three really, other than just seeing them. One, for the mushroom hunting. Two, because my mom buys these containers of greens, salad greens, spinach, and stuff like that, and they're really big clear plastic containers that are excellent for propagation boxes. And then also just to get my sister out of the house. She's kind of stuck there a lot. I don't know how much she wants me sharing on the internet, but I'd like to be able to go out there and get her out of the house sometimes. I just didn't think I'd have enough time to do all that today, so we'll save it for another weekend. Here are some boletes. These stain blue, as you can kind of see there, anywhere it's been touched. Some of these are edible. I just don't know enough about them yet to try to distinguish one from the other, because a lot of these look very similar. A lot more of the palmetto berries. The permit is free, at least here in Florida. Here's an interesting looking guy. Very healthy looking. Another one I don't know much about and wouldn't eat. And then right next to it is another type of mushroom. Kind of looks like little worms. I just ordered a new book for mushroom identification, and it should be here either Saturday or Monday. I'm really excited about it. It looks like it's going to be a really good one. So just spotted something down here. It's very pink. I'm thinking it may be a Russell. Yeah, that's what it is. The stems of the rust often look like a chalk stick and are said to break like chalk. This is a very light pink variety that I've never seen before. Some of these are edible, but there's so many that look exactly alike that I would be scared to try one unless a more experienced forager could help me identify. But still a very pretty mushroom there. Let it continue to release its spores. Looks like this is another one. I saw just a little bump coming up. And oh, I might take one just to see if I can figure anything out about it. Here are some bunch of little ones that I'm not familiar with. A lot of people refer to these smaller brown mushrooms as just LBMs, little brown mushrooms. And some of them are very deadly, some of them are edible. I don't really know which from which yet. Still always cool to find. That didn't actually last very long at all because it's mostly boardwalk, and the only place I could really explore the ground was near the cabins, which I didn't even realize were here. And they're fully booked, and there's people out there, and I know that when you rent a cabin or something like that, you kind of feel like the space around it is yours, so I didn't want to be rude and just go up in their space. If you can see the tub behind me, that is for a project I'm starting, and there's a plant, one of my wish list plants that I just found at Home Depot for less than $20. Tell you guys about that when we get back to the house. Okay, now that I'm home, I almost said we're home. I mean, you're kind of here with me. I'll show you the plant I got. It was one of my, like I said, wish list plants. This is the Silver Dragon Alocasia. Look how full and beautiful this plant is for less than $20. And actually there are, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plants in here for less than $20. It was one of my wish list plants. I'm going to be pulling those guys apart and potting them up separately whenever I get the chance. And then I'm going to be taking some propagations that I started a while ago that have outgrown the container that they're in. I'm going to be putting them in cups and setting them in here to continue their growth, because I've started selling my cuttings online. I actually did a sale the week that I had COVID. I didn't even tell you guys about that. Ricky and I both were out of work for over a week with COVID. It was horrible. Nothing like what I've heard COVID is like, but still not something I'd like to do again. But during that week, while I was sitting at home, missing out on my checks, I decided to go ahead. I joined a few of the Facebook plant purge groups where people go to buy and sell plants. And I made, let's see, 4 sales on Facebook. And I also sold some elderberry tree cuttings on Macari. I've started my Macari shop again. I even recorded a video when I was feeling kind of okay during that to tell you guys about all this. I started an extra Instagram account for my plant sales and such. I made some money selling plants, so that's something I've wanted to do for a long time. I got feedback from the people I sold to that the plants were right in great shape. It was a fairly stress-free process, and what I sold was just cuttings. They were unrooted cuttings. I only sold them for 50 cents a piece. I was just kind of dipping my toe in the water, but so yeah, that is going to be part of my plan for saving money. In that video that I did record, I talked about how having one income for myself is just not enough anymore, as far as me trying to save to buy a home. So while I am working as many hours as I possibly get at work, my boss has actually been sending me home because he doesn't want me to get overtime. I'm finding ways of earning money on the side that I could put into savings that does not get touched, and this is part of that. So we are going to go and take some cuttings and do all this planty stuff to them. Sorry, this is going to be a really long video, but I hope you guys enjoy it. So remember that room I was trying to turn into an indoor jungle? Yeah, I got overwhelmed and took all the plants outside, shut the door, and I haven't really been out here. So I figured today, if I can before it gets too hot, I want to clean, reorganize this space. There's my beautiful new plants. Here's some boletes that I was drying in here. We'll also harvest some of the beans I had growing. We'll do cuttings. Like I said, there's a lot that I want to get done, squeezed into this one little tiny day. Gonna do my best. The weed growth around here is just amazing. Insane. All my plants are gone from in here. I do have bean plants that are putting off beans. These are really young. Got a watermelon vine. A little tiny baby watermelon. I don't get my hopes up anymore because every time I do they just die. So, but this guy is coming from way back in there in those weeds somewhere. We have some bugs getting on my okra. Excuse me guys. This one, oh wow, there's so many bugs. Go away. That giant grasshopper, he was probably nibbling on. I'm gonna let this go one more day and then I'll probably pick it if the bugs haven't destroyed it. Here are my beans that I could pick. Got actually quite a lot of them. The ants really like to farm these. I don't know if it's the sugars on them or what, but they're doing a good job of farming them. And then I should have some peppers growing. I brought home my pruning shears from work that I use for my flower arrangements, and I'm going to be cutting all these elephant ears back so I can actually see my plants. I've got some supplies. I just sanitized both my scissors and my pruners. I've got my bin over here. I've got my swag. I've got another little container to start my cuttings in. These are the cuttings that I want to put into the big container. And these are cuttings I started a long time ago. They've all rooted, and I'm thinking about putting those in the big container as well. And then I'm going to be taking some cuttings from different vining plants I have out here, and something needs to be done about the caterpillars and the grasshoppers because they are just eating away at my beautiful plants. Well, that one's meant to have holes, but I actually had to rescue my philodendron micans from out here because I don't know if it was a caterpillar or a grasshopper had eaten most of the leaves off, and I almost lost it. You guys look at my Baltic blue. Look at the state of this thing. The roots. Desperately needs to be replanted. I was just at Home Depot to buy this sphagnum moss. Didn't even think about getting potting soil, but it's putting off a lot of new shoots and stuff. I just cut this back to sell some of the cuttings, so I'm excited to see that it's already growing new stuff. So I'm going to take some more cuttings of this guy and some cuttings of my Adansonii, see what I can get out of these plants. Does anybody know if these crimson princess leaves will sprout new plants? Because they've been sitting out here looking just fine for 3 weeks now. And I'm wondering if I could start new plants with them. Okay, so these guys have been kept in these plastic bags since you saw me pot them up. I haven't watered them, I haven't done anything to them, and they've kept their humidity in the bags just fine. They haven't really done a whole lot of growth though. Now, I just ordered, along with the mushroom book that I was telling you about, I ordered some liquid dirt fertilizer that one of my favorite plant YouTuber, Harley G, is always promoting. She uses it on her cuttings, her sphagnum moss cuttings and all that. This guy does have a little new growth there. And I'm going to, as soon as it arrives, I'm going to give these guys some nutrients so I can start to see some growth on them. I should probably look back at the old video before I say that they haven't grown at all and see if maybe they have in fact grown a little bit and I'm just not realizing it. If I could keep all my plants in grow tents or whatever, like my fully mature plants, maybe they would last longer, do better, and I wouldn't have to stress because I don't have to water them or anything. I think that's pretty cool. The plant purge that I did a few weeks ago, like I said, I was just dipping my toe in the waters and seeing if I could even get sales. I did a flash sale, 2 for $1 fresh cuttings. They weren't rooted or anything, and people bought a lot of them. I sold a lot of them. I didn't make a ton of money because they were so cheap. It was really just for me to get some experience in shipping, trying to figure out what works best and all of that, and it worked out. Now I know, and now I'm ready to start actually selling some plants. So that's why I'm doing all of this stuff right now. There was one of these when I planted it up. It was a half moon. Half of the leaf was green, the other half was white. And I'm not seeing it in here, so I don't know, I'm not sure what happened there. I'm so excited. I'm gonna need a few more plants to fill this up. So I think I'm gonna pot. That just looks ridiculous. There's so many plants in here. Good roots going on. Anyway, I think I'm gonna pot some of these up and stick them in here as well. Okay, so following Harley's advice, I'm going to put a little bit of moss in the bottom of the cup. I'm sure they're all going to be tangled up together. Alright, I can't be choosy. Let's just pull some of these guys out and see what happens. Okay, this little clump came out together. So I wish these cups were a little smaller. It takes so much moss to fill the cups. The good thing is you can reuse the moss over and over again. So once these get transferred out of the moss and into soil, then it can be reused. And then I'm just gonna backfill a little bit. And there we go. We've got another plant potted up. Alright, I'm not going to make you watch me do this whole thing. So I'll be back to you and I'll show you what the box looks like when we're finished and I'm ready to move on to the next project. Alright, so this box is now empty and it is about to get reused. And this is what came out of all of those little plants. They're going to be very full and bushy when they are mature, which will be good for sales and hopefully make happy customers. I think I'm going to take these rootings that I've had been I've had sitting in water for a couple weeks now. They have some roots growing on them, so I think I'm just going to pot these guys up and stick them in here as well. And I've got a few others in random places that we'll find, combine, put together, and get in here to fill this box all the way up. Put all these together in sphagnum because I have wanted to offer mixed plants available for sale, and this is just a bunch of philodendron and pothos cuttings. So I've got a pothos, a couple of different kinds of pothos here, and a philodendron as well that have a lot of roots in that dirty jar. And then my little propagation station that Ricky bought me last year, got an Addisonii, philodendron, some ivy, some spider plants, another philodendron. All of these have lots of roots and they're ready to come out of here. Eventually I'm gonna have to clean these guys. They're very dirty, but I've got to pull this rod out so I can get the plants out because I can't just squeeze them out. But the first little guy, I believe this is a philodendron. I don't know if it's Brazil or not. It's got the green variegation on it. I snagged this cutting from one of my cousin's plants sometime last year, stuck it in here. It's been rooting, and this is going to be a challenge to get out because we've had leaves that grew into the bottom. Ooh, it's just difficult. I'm gonna break it. Oh no, I got it. Woohoo, look at that. So I guess this is just, yeah, it's just one cutting that has rooted from several different places, and then this bottom leaf has been growing underwater. But I'm gonna snap it off just so I don't bury it, and then drop it in here, and then add some more soil. Not soil, spag. So the spag that I bought this time, you guys, is actually being marketed as orchid moss. There's nothing different about this other than it may be longer pieces than the other kind I normally buy, but it's just spag. That's all it is. There's nothing special. This one compared to this one. This is the one I usually buy. This is, I think, just shorter, and this is longer. But it's $1 more because orchid stuff is expensive. Here's my little Addisonii cutting. It's got a lot of nodes on it. This part has the roots. I may chop this up instead of just sticking it in a cup. Or maybe if I just put moss all the way up the stem, it'll start pushing off new growth. I need to do something because my Addisonii plant is suffering from being outside, and I need more of these. Here is one of my spider plant pups. I think this may have been one of the little tiny ones that was hanging off the plant, and I stuck in water, and the little thin hair-like roots are the water roots, and this was the aerial roots. But it's going into a cup now. I thought the mother plant was going to die for a while. It's doing a lot better since being put back outside, but hopefully I'll have some backups just in case anything ever goes south. I don't know if you guys remember, but late last year, early this year, I was doing a lot of prop videos and repotting videos, and most of the plants that I repotted, the cuttings that I took and then repotted, they all died because they were not kept in a propagation box, and I didn't come out here and water them. So they're all gone. Hundreds of plants gone, but that's okay. If you guys look at the length of these water roots on this philodendron, I thought it was a bunch of roots. It's just like one root that just keeps going and going and going. Oh my gosh. All right, I'm potting all these up in the same cup. Here's another one that's just got, if I untangle this, the longest root system I've ever seen. I had not opened these prop boxes in a long time, and they seem to be working. They're not growing super fast, but I've got 2 kinds of begonia that are still alive in here, so that's pretty cool. So last night, I think it was last night, maybe the night before, I took out, let's see, I don't even have their containers in here anymore, but all of my little peperomias that I bought, my ripples and things like that, were in their little domes and were staying so wet that they were just rotting. So I put them in here hoping they would do a little better. And I also stuck my micans in here, which I was telling you guys earlier that either a caterpillar or a grasshopper was eating. Anyway, I stuck that in here as well, and I'm going to try to show you what was happening here. So I was finally starting to get some growth on it after moving it outside, and went to check on it the other day and noticed that most of the leaves were being destroyed. So I put it in here, and then I was just thinking maybe I would put it in its own cup and put it in the prop bin, but I think I've got it lodged in here fairly well. And I also have little peperomia leaves that started putting pups off. So maybe I'll just leave it in here for now. That peperomia was sending up its little things. Maybe I'll just leave it in here for now, and then if I notice that it's struggling, I'll take it out. Now I guess it's time to take some new node cuttings for these guys. Actually, let me go check, make sure there's no more rooted cuttings that need to go in this before I seal it up. Yeah, so I actually had several more. Some of them are in dire straits. Like my Anisonii that I was trying to do in perlite, and the rain flooded it, and I didn't check on it, and the bugs have been eating away at it. So we're gonna pull this guy out and pot him up. We had a Maranta prayer plant that I thought was dead, and this jar was overflowing, but look here, there's a brand new plant forming there, so we're going to pot him up as well. Some more heartleaf philodendron that are looking very, very rough, but most of it's just old dead leaves sticking to it. But these all have roots, they need to be potted. Another one of my Anisonii cuttings is rooted enough to be potted, and then one of my, I think it's Marble Queen, that I had in spag without drainage holes that I set outside, and it just basically started drowning. So we're gonna redo this and keep it in the box and out of the rain. There's my little Maranta. I was gonna cut the mother leaf off, but it actually has another node and that I'm gonna try to get to root. So I'm gonna keep it. I thought I stopped the camera. I've just been recording. No, it just started, didn't it? Okay, my camera's weird. So it somehow started recording on its own. Anyway, my Anisonii. Good luck, little guys. All of you, good luck. I think I only have room for one more cup, so who's it gonna be, huh? Who's it gonna be? It's gonna be this guy. Since he's already in spag, I'm just gonna wring what I can of the moisture out, keep some of it in it because it'll help keep the humidity up in this box. And this is gonna be the last guy to go in the box, and then I can show you what it looks like. Okay, so there is our full propagation box. I'm really excited. I hope this works as well for me as it seems to work for Harley G. You guys, I'm a poet. So yeah, now I'm just gonna seal this bad boy up and place it under bright light. So I'm thinking either up there under that light or outside. I'm a little nervous to put it outside because none of these guys have been outside, but all of these guys have. I don't know what to do. I think I'll try it in here first, and then I'll take it outside if I feel like I need it. It needs it. I just don't want it to be too harsh. I don't know, you guys. I don't know. Now I have a giant mess to clean up. So some of these, as you can see, did not get put into cups. I think for ones like this or this that don't really have a lot of root, leaf growth or are growing the roots in weird places, I'm just going to be taking node cuttings and pulling the leaves off and sticking them back in here. I need to put this back together after I clean it out a little bit, and then that box is going to be for those two guys at least, and maybe some more cuttings. Did I show you guys my onions that I grew? I can't take full credit for these because it was already kind of an onion when I put it in my garden. But so my coworker brought me an onion she had in her fridge. It had gone bad but started sprouting, and it was a large onion, you know, kind you normally get at the store. And so I stuck it in a pot with some soil, and then I ended up getting two little tiny onions out of it before this started dying back, and I just didn't want it to rot on the ground. So they've actually been hanging upside down here in the shed to get this sheath around it so they can be stored. I don't know why, that's just what I've heard to do. I could have used this in my taco soup the other night. I just didn't think about it, but I'm really proud of these two tiny little onions. I just got half of my Amazon shipment, and I was going to show you guys what I got. So these are some silica packs to put in my jars of dehydrated mushrooms and vegetables. These are some liners to go in my dehydrator because the holes in my dehydrator are very big and everything just falls through. And then here's my mushroom identification book. I'm very excited about this. Alright, so okay, I didn't have as many nodes available for my Baltic or my Anisonii as I thought. Took what I could, but my next best seller was my global green pothos cuttings. I just took cuttings off of this lady. I just did it 3 weeks ago, like all the way back, and she started rooting in the ground. She's got some kind of a wild plant growing out of her. She's ready for a haircut again, and all of my plants are ready to be repotted. I just don't have any soil or bigger pots. I have bigger pots. I don't have enough soil. I don't have any soil, Christy. Get it straight. So we're going to take some global green cuttings and put them in this box with the little bit that I was able to get from the other two. I'm thinking just one strand is going to be enough to fill this box. I've got one more container I could load up, and then I'm going to have to be done for the day because I just don't have enough space. And I could stick them in water. I don't know. We'll see. So to give myself a little more room in the box, I've been taking off the leaf from the node, which supposedly also helps activate a new growth point. I'm just regurgitating information that I get from other plant YouTubers. So take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt, but also experiment, have fun, see what works and what doesn't. Alright, so here are all my node cuttings from my plant. She's a lot shorter now. I've got to figure out what this is and get it out of there. I also have a few top cuttings that I'm going to be sticking in jars full of water, and these are going to go into this smaller prop box that I just took the Enjoy or Pearls and Jade cuttings from. Alright, so there's all our little nodes in their happy little home. You could see some of them that I cut already had new growth points. So I hope they do as well as the Enjoy or Pearls and Jade that I had in this box. I'm gonna pop the lid back on, set it back over there, and in a few months, hopefully lots of happy new plants. Pretty exciting. Grow big and strong, guys. Look at this beautiful plant, you guys. I'm so excited that they're selling these in normal shops now. I actually saw one. I think it was this one. It may have been another one of the dragon scales at a Walmart in Gainesville when I was with my kids. This one is so pretty. Ugh. And something I didn't even know about this plant is the underside of the leaves is also beautiful. Look at that. It's got red, purple, reddish purple veining running through really pale bluish green undersides on the leaves. That is very pretty. It adds to my love for the plant. It's just so gorgeous. I'm so excited. And yeah, there's like 6 plants in here, so I can break this apart and okay, not 100%, but it's a lot better than it was. The floor's clean. Things are pushed up against the wall. Doesn't look too bad. Proud of myself. I've accomplished a lot today for being a lazy person and it being my only day off. Usually I just lay around. That's all I want to do because I know I've got another 6 days of work ahead of me. But took advantage of the time. I got things done. I'm really excited. Alright, you guys, I think I'm going to end this video here. I know it's been incredibly long. If any of you have stuck around through this entire video, please leave me a comment down below because I just don't think that anyone's going to do it, and I would love to know if somebody actually does. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today, and I'll see you in the next one.